It's now time for my favorite episode of this series. It's time for Disney news. And now, here's the person who knows absolutely nothing about my company, but I have to say he does for contractual reasons. It's Roller Coaster Rider. Thanks, Mickey. Hey, what's up? I'm Roller Coaster Rider.
Hi, I'm Kay.
And if you couldn't tell, we went to Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo DisneySeas one day each.
Right.
Why don't you say some information?
Well, Tokyo Disneyland was Disney's fourth theme park after Disneyland, Magic Kingdom, and Epcot. It was an instant hit with everyone in Japan. It debuted in the spring of 1983. Ooh.
You almost said 1883.
Yeah, I know. Can you believe it? Tokyo Disneyland contains many of the best features of the original two Disney parks, including Big Thunder Mountain, Space Mountain, Gadget's Go Coaster, plus a handful of unique must-ride attractions. Pooh's Honey Hunt.
We
Monsters,
both rode
Inc.,
that.
Ride and Go Seek. And it's considered two of the best Disney dark rides in parks.
I thought you were going to talk about the shuttle service.
Oh, yes. So when we received the packet in our emails, I was reading through it, trying to make sure, highlighting things, underlining things, so we could be prepared, after we came back from a day of riding coasters and flat rides for me and dark rides. We could prepare for the next day. So as I was reading through, the hotel had direct service, bus shuttle service from Disneyland and from Tokyo DisneySeas straight to the hotel. And I was thinking, wow, there's 160 some odd people on this trip. I want to make sure I get on it. So I went ahead and I made reservations for both parks. I called Tokyo and spoke to the hotel to make sure that we were on it. So when we checked in, we got our shuttle passes right away. Just trying to be proactive.
Mm-hmm.
Less things to think about when we get there.
So, when we get there, there's two things that it's easy to find out. First of all, Tokyo adores Disney.
Oh my gosh, yes. Any of the characters are adored.
There's one character that's really adored. Duffy.
Yes.
Duffy, which is Mickey Mouse's teddy bear, is like, wow, is he adored. It kind of made me think that Duffy is how Japanese kids learn English. Like maybe maybe that's an instructional video or something, because... Oh. What?
Huh. Well, they had a whole store for him, a whole show for him.
A meet and greet, which had a queue line.
Yeah.
Like, they treat him like... I don't know, like Frozen would be treated here in the U.S., maybe.
Well, Frozen was big there, too.
But much less Anna and Elsa. I saw an Olaf popcorn bucket, though.
Yes. And you even saw 101 Dalmatians, Cruella de Vil. You saw... Ursula. I mean, people
Descendants?
Yes, people were dressed up galore. We should have taken more pictures. We didn't, but... Wow.
I said this to somebody. After a while, it was tough to find out who was an employee and who was just someone who was dressed up, because it got kind of tough after a while.
Yeah, I think the dressed up ones were not the employees.
Yeah, I took a picture of this one girl who's dressed like Jessica Rabbit, because I remember that the legend from In the Loop said he wanted Jessica Rabbit as a meet and greet. So I thought that woman was an employee, and she was next to like Jack Sparrow and some other Disney characters. So I was just like trying to like say, no, I just want to take a picture of you. And then that's when Kay told me, Roller Coaster Rider, that's not an employee. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, you kind of made the other ones think like, oh, we're chicken feed?
Oh, I thought it'd be like, Why are you taking a picture of just her? You're weird.
Yeah. But she was okay with it.
So anyway, one huge difference is that this main street, which is called World Bazaar, even though it feels a lot more like America Bazaar, but it's called World Bazaar, uh, it's enclosed.
Oh, and I apologize to take you back to this. I felt like there were more teenagers and adults dressed as characters
Yeah.
than kids. Which here you find more kids because a lot of the parks in the U.S. do not allow the adults to dress up.
Unless you go to the Mickey's Not So Scary Upcharge event at the Magic Kingdom.
Oh,
Disneyland in California might also offer that, and maybe Paris as well. I'm not sure about those, but I know Not So Scary is at Magic Kingdom.
okay. And I'm sorry I took you back. So go back with your thought.
So anyway, World Bazaar feels a lot more like America Bazaar. There's a lot of stores, and a lot of them sell Disney merchandise. That's about it.
But try to find the magnet for how many years they've been opened.
Yeah,
Was
it's
very hard
weird.
to find.
Disney, I mean, like, this also happened in California. It's like you don't have any anniversary merchandise magnets.
Well, they did, but they were all sold out.
Yeah. I now
And
understand why this park is so profitable now.
oh my gosh, people with bags and bags of stuff as they're leaving.
It was like Legoland.
Yeah, day after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. God, imagine how busy the park is during, like, Christmas.
Oh wow.
Magic Kingdom still gets higher attendance, but this is probably pretty close. Anyway, I sent Kay on kind of a goose chase to go get a Monsters Inc. Ride and Go Seek Fast Pass, which, two things I will say about their Fast Pass. One, they're the old school legacy Fast Pass, so it's not like Max Pass or My Magic Plus, where it's just like a paper thing, you get a paper ticket. And something else that's good is that when we went to California, there was a limit that there was only 3 Fast Passes. Because this park is not owned by Disney, I guess they can play by their own rules, so they have unlimited Fast Passes.
But did we use a lot of fast passes?
I think we did, didn't we?
I think there was one that we didn't use though, because
Let's
some of the
see.
lines were less than an hour. To get a fast pass, oh my god, that line was long, and they kept adding and adding to the length of it. We didn't get a fast pass for It's a Small World.
We didn't for Pooh's Honey Hunt. But we did for Space Mountain and Monsters Inc., I guess. Just those two.
Okay.
That was interesting. I thought we would...
I think we had another one, but we didn't use it. We didn't need it. I think I brought one home. Anyway.
Okay. So anyway, I sent her to go get the Monsters Inc. Fast Pass while I rode Big Thunder.
And then we met back at It's a Small World,
Yeah.
right?
No,
Pooh's Honey Hunt?
no, it was Small World. Kay was wondering, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to recognize it. And I'm like, it's the pink building. You should be able to hear the
clock.
song.
With the
Yeah.
clock.
It's
Very loud ticking clock.
Yeah, it's kind of like the facade kind of looks, it's reminiscent of the California one, except it's more pink, while as the one in California I think is a lot more like gold and white and blue. This one is all like pink and noticeable.
But one thing I have to tell you is that you have to get on one side of the parade route early,
Yeah.
otherwise you get stuck.
Wow.
People lined up hours in advance for that.
They sat down with blankets waiting for the parade.
Yeah.
This park would be Drew the intern's nightmare. He's not a parade person.
Right, but when the parades were going, if you were on the right side of it, you could get in line for a ride.
So anyway, I went to Big Thunder Mountain. Good ride. It was fine. I've only been on the Disneyland version, and that was 2 years ago, so if you want me to say, like, hey, which Space Mountain is better, this one or this one, it's like, I don't know. They're both fine.
Okay.
Then after that, we went to Small World. This one has a lot of Disney characters.
Yes, it does.
It has
From recent movies.
Yeah, it has like Little Mermaid, it has Moana, it has Peter Pan, it has obviously Frozen. It has what else does it have?
Oh, I forgot.
Oh, thank you. Talk!
I can't remember everybody that was in it. We discussed it afterwards, but now I can't really remember.
But yeah, it was a lot more colorful, and it was a lot brighter. I kind of was wishing that the song was entirely in Japanese. But, it was okay. It was fine.
Well, was Lilo or Stitch there for Hawaii?
Yes, they were.
Okay.
Oh, Stitch is really popular in Japan, apparently. After that, then we went to Pooh's Honey Hunt. And
we didn't do Fast Pass because Fast Pass was like an hour and it was less than 45-minute wait.
Mm-hmm. And this was also the first time where we had popcorn.
Yes. The many flavors of Disney.
This one was honey popcorn for obvious reasons.
Which I liked. It was really good. It was better than the caramel. You would think that it maybe would have the caramel, but no.
I kind of wanted to wait until later when we had another version of it.
Well, we didn't have caramel, remember?
Oh, yeah, that was the next day, I think. Or was it? Yeah.
Did we have caramel?
I don't know.
We didn't have regular.
Mm-hmm. We didn't have the salt popcorn because I was thinking, well, I can get that for like $1. So anyway, we both went... yeah, we both went on Pooh's Honey Hunt.
That was interesting.
Yeah, it was... You can really tell that it does take a little part... It does take a few parts from the US versions. But at the same time, it's completely different. The dream sequence is different. There are 3 trains, or there are 3 cars per train, but there are times where you don't feel like you're part of a train. There's a... Disclaimer, we're going to spoil some stuff. There's a Tigger bounce room.
Yes.
Where you feel like you're actually bouncing.
Yes.
I don't know if that's just the screen or if that's the car, but something happens where you feel like you're bouncing when Tigger is bouncing. And then there's the ending, which is just which is so wonderful, where as the story goes, where Pooh gets stuck in a I think it's based on the first Winnie the Pooh episode.
In a beehive
yeah,
with tons of honey.
Mm-hmm. And when you're in there, you can actually smell honey.
Yes, we thought we did.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. After that,
it was a ride I could go on. So after that, didn't we go over to Monsters Inc. or we went? No, there was one other ride we did before Monsters Inc.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember. It wasn't Haunted Mansion.
No, we did that later.
It wasn't Snow White.
No. Well, did we? Yeah, we did Snow White, didn't it?
Yeah, but not after.
So what is between Pooh's Hunt and...
I'm looking.
Sorry, folks. Maybe it was Monsters, Inc. No.
Yeah, then we went to Monsters, Inc. and...
I think it probably was because we were close to the time.
Mm-hmm. So we went to Monsters, Inc. First we got, what did we get? We got, soy sauce and butter-flavored popcorn.
Which wasn't one of my favorites.
I thought it was fine. So anyway,
I
Monsters
have to be
Inc.
careful with soy sauce.
Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, it replaced Meet the World, which I guess was their version of Carousel of Progress. I haven't seen that show, so I can't tell you much about it. The cars are very small. The cars are kind of similar to the Monsters Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue cars, where it's like 2 people per car. Because of our size and the size of the car, and because Kay needed to stretch one leg, we ended up getting different cars. The whole premise of this is that essentially you're training to be a Monsters Inc. recruit or something.
Yeah.
So the goal is that you have to shine a flashlight at monsters. And originally I thought the goal was to like shine the flashlight and make the monsters disappear. This is kind of more like a non-screen, non-3D version of Toy Story Mania, where when you I don't want to say shoot, but when you shine the flashlight at the monsters, they each do like random things.
Yes.
So that was kind of fun. What'd you think of that one?
Yeah, that was nice.
We didn't do Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters, and we didn't.
We've done it before.
Yeah, and I didn't do Star Tours because, it was fine in California. I wasn't really gonna ride things in, at this park that I could ride in California or Florida. And it would have to be different, or we just had free time that I would do some of the stuff. So anyway, I think we got barbecue popcorn. Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, did we do Space Mountain afterwards or no? Or was that later?
I didn't. You might have.
We'll say
Single
that's
rider?
later.
Was that a single rider?
No, I did a Fast Pass part, I think. What's interesting about Japan is that almost all their coasters that have test seats, they'll look at you and they say, okay, try, well, in Japanese they'll be like, come here, try test seat. Yeah. So
they don't want you to get up there and not fit.
So, let's just say I rode Space Mountain next. So, for Space Mountain in the first car, in the first row, I was okay. But then he said, basically, try the second row. So I tried the second row, and he was like, good. And I was like, okay. So basically, I told them that, I need to do the second row. So when they said, when the person said 1, I kind of played dumb person. I don't understand, even though I did. So I just walked to 2, and she was like, whatever. So that was pretty much what it was. The Disneyland Space Mountain is much smoother. This version, I guess, is pretty similar to the Orlando version. It's nothing like the Paris version because you don't go upside down. And it has the 2-part lift. Maybe that might be like Disneyland then. I've only been on the Disneyland California Space Mountain, and now this one, so I can't really tell you much of the difference. Watch a YouTube video with the lights on and find out for yourself. Or go to, the Disney Wikipedia. Okay,
so we've got a lot to get to cover here, so maybe just go through some of the things that we did.
Then I went to Pirates of the Caribbean. Then we both went on Pirates of the Caribbean, and disclaimer, ladies, I apologize. But one reason why I was looking forward to it was I was looking forward to seeing the Wench auction scene. We sat in the last row? Were we in the last row or second to last row?
I'm not sure.
Well, this version, it's not like the California version where it's like 15 minutes long and you go up the waterfall at the end. This one, I guess, this one is probably a little bit longer than the Florida version, and it's not like the Paris version, which is completely different apparently. So with This one does have a big drop. Um, you are in the middle of a pirate battle. There's the Wench auction, and even more than that, Lance Hart, this for you, buddy. Um, there's the old school thing of the men chasing the women, which got removed in like the 90s.
Well, and then they had the wife chasing the husband too.
Yeah, in Paris it's just women chasing men, but in this one it was men chasing women, and then an angry woman chasing a man. In this one, what makes it very different from the California version is that you don't go up the lift, even though there is a Blue Bayou restaurant. So you just get off the ride. So, and then you walk. Was there an escalator? I think there was.
I remember it was a walkway up, or was it an escalator up?
There might have been two options. So, we did that. That was kind of interesting. Then, let's get into the pins. Disneyland was something that amazed us was that they gave away free pins.
Right.
You just go to someone and it's like first visit pin or an I'm celebrating pin or happy birthday pin or graduation pin or anniversary or marriage pin, whatever. What's weird about Tokyo Disneyland and DisneySeas is that they don't do that. They give away stickers.
Well, people won't hurt themselves on rides, and for the little kids it might be easier.
So I found that a little interesting. Then we went to Squeezer's Tropical Juice Bar.
Yep.
Because I had noticed that people had this weird drink thing, and I thought it was going to be like butterbeer or like LeFou's Brew, or it was going to be a unique drink thing. What was it? It was like a smoothie that had goji berries.
Yep, in the bottom.
And we also had pumpkin ice cream.
Yep.
After that, because the Jungle Cruise was closed, so we don't know if they did stuff with the hippo, we went on the Western River Railroad. Okay?
Uh-huh.
And in the Western River Railroad, it's kind of like a train version of the Jungle Cruise. Because you go past the Adventureland section, then when you're in Frontierland, you go past like Native Americans and stuff. Then you go back into Adventureland and we've never done I've never done a Disneyland Railroad, at least in the last decade. Kay, have you done a Disneyland Railroad or Disney Railroad?
Not that I remember.
So, in this, we found it kind of odd because you go into a tunnel and there are dinosaurs.
Yep.
Maybe this makes sense in Japanese?
Maybe it was like a cave or something, or the Dark Ages, or...
Yeah. Oh, this was where we walked by the Theodore Orleans show, which was, I don't know, just people dancing and Disney characters, and there was a queue line for a show. That's how popular Disney characters are.
Well, we did a bunch of other stuff, so you're going to have to speed this up. And
after that, we went to Western Land again, so that way I could have what was it? The milk. Was it the milk chocolate popcorn or the barbecue popcorn?
No, it was the milk chocolate because I was by Mark Twain's Riverboat.
And Kay was like, "Ooh, I want to do the Mark Twain Riverboat." And I was like, "I promise." Spoiler alert, we didn't do Mark Twain Riverboat.
We ran out of time because we saw shows and we did a lot of other rides.
Mm-hmm.
Should get through this quicker.
So then we went back to Fantasyland. We went to Haunted Mansion, which it looks very out of place in Fantasyland because it's kind of in the same style as like the New Orleans version, or not New Orleans version. The one that's either at probably the one that's maybe at Disney World, because it looked a little different from the one at Disneyland. I think I'm cursed with Haunted Mansion, because I've now been on 2 Haunted Mansions.
Huh.
And they were both Nightmare Before Christmas overlays.
Yep.
So, you want to know my opinion on this? I have no idea, because I've never been on the regular Haunted Mansion. So, that was kind of a kick.
Well, after that, didn't we do Snow White's Adventures?
Yeah, we did Snow White.
And we also did Mickey's Philharmonic. Or Magic.
Hold on.
No, you need to get through this stuff.
So, no, I want to say what's so cool about Snow White's Adventure, why I wanted to go on it. Because we both went on the California version, and it felt extremely edited. Because I've said this before, but there was a scene where it was like, here, have an apple. And then it goes, and then they lived happily ever after. And I was like, I feel like we missed about a minute of this. So this was the original scary, evil version. This is the original scary version that scared kids.
Yep. And at the end with the boulder.
Yeah, at the end, the witch tries to kill you with a boulder.
Yep, roll it over, yeah.
We went on Mickey's PhilharMagic, just because. It had way more dialogue than I thought, and it was kind of funny hearing some of the famous Disney songs in Japanese, and it made me realize, wow, I actually don't know a lot of these songs. Like, I don't know Part of Your World, or A Whole New World, or Be Our Guest. I've never seen the English version of PhilharMagic, so I have no idea what's going on.
Well, then you got to talk about the other show you wanted to see, which it wasn't the one show you thought.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that later. Toontown, I went on Gadget's Go Coaster because it was a coaster, and Kay and I both did Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin. Kay didn't like it. Right?
Yep, it's okay.
So then we're gonna try to speed this up. We went back to Westernland, and we did the Country Bear Theater, where this was their vacation hoedown. And the reason why is that even though I've never seen the show, Hyde on In the Loop said Country Bear is entirely in Japanese, which is kind of hilarious. Maybe? Maybe, but we've never seen it. And what was hilarious was that there were a bunch of songs that were entirely in Japanese, but there was one song that was entirely in English. So probably no one
in the rain.
So no one understood the show, probably.
Oh, I'm sure they didn't understand. We were trying to tell each other what the tune was, what we thought the song was.
They had the Beach Boys, didn't they?
Yes.
Didn't they have Elvis?
Yes.
They had, I think they had Achy Breaky Heart?
Yes.
And then they had Working on the Railroad. That was the song that we both realized, okay. And then there's a song, I've never heard this, but the only parts that were in English were VACATION.
Vacation.
It was like, huh? So yeah, that was pretty interesting.
So is this when? Okay, so the popcorns that we tasted at Disney.
We had barbecue. We had milk chocolate, honey, salt, and soy sauce and butter.
Yep.
Oh, and then I went on Splash Mountain, because no, I didn't say I went on Splash Mountain. I went on Splash Mountain because some people were like, "Hey man, you have to ride," and I was like, "Yeah," and they were like, "The song Zippity Doodah is pretty funny in Japanese." It is, but it's only like 20 seconds, and it's towards the end, and that ride probably would have been a lot better if it wasn't raining, and I didn't forget that. And I forgot that Splash Mountain was partly outdoors. So when it was outside, I was getting pelted with rain, and then we would go inside, and I would be like, this is better.
Yeah, I'm glad we took our rain gear, and that we took 2 pairs of shoes, and everything else.
We ended up getting a turkey leg, and then we took the shuttle bus home.
Okay, we need to pause.
Bye.
Put this away.
And now part 2, where we're going to do DisneySeas. And this park, because it's mainly laid out in a circle, we decided to do this park. We're going to do this trip report in a circle, where we're just going to focus on each themed area. And even if we didn't do stuff in that order, we still did it this way. Okay, we went to...
Excuse you.
Sorry. First of all, let's focus on the popcorn flavors first. We had garlic shrimp popcorn, strawberry popcorn,
curry.
Did we have milk chocolate?
No, because we had milk chocolate the day before.
Mm-hmm. And Kay didn't want to try black pepper popcorn.
I don't like cracked black pepper popcorn.
But man,
or potato chips either.
Strawberry popcorn is in the American section. American waterfront, and man, you smell strawberry in the entire area. It's like, oh.
Well, that's where you did Tower of Terror.
Yeah, but that's getting out of order.
Okay,
first up, we went to Mysterious Island, and there are 2 attractions here: 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and Journey to the Center of the Earth. We decided to just run to 20,000 Leagues because I felt like that was going to have the lower capacity.
Which we got right on, though.
And the reason why is because I was worried that it was going to be like Finding Nemo at Disneyland. No, it's a different type of slow capacity attraction.
Right.
Peter Pan in Disneyland.
We should have got fast passes for
Journey,
and then did this.
Yeah.
We learned the lesson.
But yeah, it kind of has a similar problem to the Finding Nemo submarine voyage, where the seats are really short, or the windows are very low to the ground. So there were a lot of times where I was like crouching, trying to see.
Yeah, I think it was really made for children to look out.
But it was a very well themed attraction.
And once we figured out how to do the light, when you...
But there were even times when they turned off the light automatically.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
I guess they didn't want you to see what was behind the scenes. So each window had a light that you could look at the bottom of the sea or ocean.
And in case you're wondering, I looked through the front, and Kay looked through the side.
Yep.
After that, then we went to Journey to the Center of the Earth, where I'm going to let Kay describe this experience. You'll understand that later, maybe.
Well, the line didn't seem that long, but it was way long. That thing curved here and there and went in between. I mean, if that was a roller coaster, you would get dizzy. So we get on there, and I took a seat to myself, and roller coaster rider was in front of me with the seat, so I was kind of sitting sideways. So I was like,
"Hold on," and I said, "Hold on," and I said, during the bright sections, there's not a lot.
Speed up.
No, you don't go very fast. It's in the dark sections, like in the pitch black sections, where you do speed up. So every couple of seconds, I was like, "Are you okay?" And she was like, "Yeah." I said, "Are you okay?" She said, "Yeah." But anyway, describe the ride.
I don't really remember it much. I was hanging on for dear life.
And then we launch.
And then we had a drop.
Mm-hmm.
Then after the drop, it was okay.
It was like a U-turn and then back into the station.
Yeah, it was loud.
So I was like, after the drop, I think I said, "Kay, are you okay?" And she was like, "Don't talk to me."
No, I think I said we'll discuss it later.
And I was thinking, like, are you okay? Like, do you need a wheelchair or something? Like, are you gonna like yell at me? Like,
oh, this is the other thing. Disney in Tokyo, if it is raining, You cannot get an electric scooter or wheelchair.
Well, you can.
If you're male.
Sorry?
A little bit of discrimination.
You didn't know that from the Wench auction at at the Pirates ride?
I probably could have used one at Land and Seas because Seas was more spread out than Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
But we survived. I kept up as best as I could.
After that, we went to Mermaid Lagoon, and I rode the Flounder's Flying Fish Coaster, where it's pretty similar to Gadget's Go Coaster, but it's made from a different manufacturer. It's okay.
I think that was the only thing in Mermaid Lagoon.
Yeah.
It was a nice area. I wanted to go in the one store, Kiss the Girl fashion, but we didn't. That was okay, though.
Then we went to the Arabian coast. And we rode the Caravan Carousel, which is a double-decker enclosed carousel.
Yeah. And we also did Jasmine's Flying Compass.
No, why don't you talk about it?
What, the carousel?
Yeah.
I was mostly on the outside bottom.
And I was on the top, and I got to ride the genie. The reason why is
there were
because
like 4 colors of genies, weren't there?
Yeah, the reason why
Purple, blue, greenish.
The reason why is because on the bottom, the horses don't go up and down, and on the top they do go up and down. So I was like, "Kay, you're being on the bottom floor."
Okay, that was fine with me.
Then we went on Jasmine's Flying Carpets. I think Kay had said on an earlier podcast that she didn't like these Dumbo-style rides.
Right.
And it photographs a little bit better than it rides. At least this day, because it was raining.
So you did get a little wet.
Mm-hmm.
You went up, and then all of a sudden, whether you wanted to go down or not, you went down.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like you were controlling it, but you actually didn't have full control over it.
We each had our own carpet. Then we went then the Magic Lamp Theater, where it was kind of weird hearing a Japanese genie.
Yeah.
It wasn't as weird. It wasn't as weird as PhilharMagic, where we heard a Japanese person, quote unquote, attempt to sound like Goofy.
Yeah.
And didn't even kind of sound like him.
Yeah.
Didn't even do the laugh. So that was interesting, but it was kind of cool.
I think, didn't we eat at the food court here?
Yeah, we ate
Well, we wanted to do number 80, but it wasn't open yet.
We eventually rode it. We're doing this by section, remember?
I know. But didn't we get something to eat at the Kabash?
Yeah, Casbah Food Court. It was a, oh, jeez.
Forget what we got.
I think we had flan and something else.
Yeah.
Anyway, then
there were many sections to that.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a marketplace. You didn't... Oh, you went in to take the tray back, I think, or something?
Yeah.
But there were all these different, side rooms. You had to remember where you were, and we were outside, so...
And...
that helped.
What's good is that Tokyo Disneyland and DisneySeas, they not only refilled your water for free, as all places should, but they also had drinking fountains, and not only that, but drinking fountains in the queue lines.
Yes. We found that in Pooh and the day before.
We found that in Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Well, there, I think you needed it. You think that line isn't very long, but oh boy.
So we went on Sinbad's Storybook Voyage, finally. This was something I was looking forward to. Kay was like, I'm kind of sore. Is it going to be okay? And I said, it's going to be like Small World or Pirates without a drop. I like this better than both Small World and,
a lot of people in our group were talking about it.
I think it's because different is good, to quote Drew the Intern. I think I might like this better than Pirates. Maybe.
When a lot of people in our group, especially on our bus, were looking forward to Tokyo Disney Seas
Yeah.
because I think the last time they did Tokyo, it wasn't open.
No, the last time was 2005. This was when it was Sinbad's Seven Voyages, and it was all dark and evil and scary.
Oh.
Since then, they've rethemed it, and they've made it more child friendly. This ride was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
And kudos to Tokyo Disney Seas. This was the only attraction, I think, where they said, like, go ahead and film. Go ahead and film the ride. Go ahead and take pictures. It's okay.
Yeah, usually they said, no camera.
Yeah. But, yeah, this is such a good dark ride. Like, I was telling people, like, why isn't this in the Morocco section at Epcot? There's a section, Drew, you won't like this, but there's a section where you can smell bananas.
Yep.
Allegedly. Because some people weren't able to. And I have this theory that they actually use real bananas in that section just to make it smell like bananas. And there's also a section where you kind of get wet. And then at the end, it is just like, there's fireworks that are going on. And, oh God, it's such a good ride.
Well, then, what? You were given a fast pass to
Tower of Terror.
And then you went to that, and you wanted me to take the electric railroad over to get a fast pass to something.
Well, let's keep this in section by section.
Where are we now then?
Then we went to Lost River Delta, where I went on my 700th coaster, Raging Spirits. This was a little interesting because the park has free lockers. Sort of. They're like deposit free lockers.
Right, you put in 100 yen, and then you get it back.
You get it back if you take it out within like 3 hours. I was by myself and I didn't have money, so I was like trying to tell the lady, like, hey, can you put in 100 yen for me? I mean, I'm gonna be like at most 10-20 minutes. And she was like, no. And I was like, well, what am I supposed to do with my jacket? And she was like, oh, just put it with you. So that was a little interesting. So
because they didn't want anything in your pockets.
Yeah.
No earrings, no necklaces.
Some people found that out the hard way, yeah. So for this one, I met a coaster enthusiast who wasn't with our group who spoke English, so that was cool. I had to, like, I was essentially, like, standing on my jacket because I was worried it was gonna, like, fall out.
Should have just wore it.
It was a combination of hot, warm, or hot, cold. I don't know. Oh, God, I wish I could remember the guy who gave it to us. He was our bus leader. Alex? No, can you look it up real quick?
I'm trying.
I'll talk more about this ride. The ride is okay. There's one section, but after the loop, it kind of gets a little shaky.
If I don't have it with me.
It gets a little shaky after the loop, but overall, the ride isn't the torture machine that I was worried it was going to be. Because I was thinking, like, well, at least it'll be my 700th coaster. Then to kind of make up for the Mark Twain riverboat, we went on the DisneySea Transit steamer line.
Oh, a couple times.
Yeah,
3 times, I think.
Yeah, the premise of this is that it's a boat ride that goes around the park.
Well, it takes you to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't do a round trip, you have to get off and then get back on. There's something about a round trip transportation or whatever, they'd have to pay higher taxes or something. I don't recall exactly what it was, but Yeah, you couldn't do anything like round trip. You had
Robert
to.
Robert Ulrich?
Yeah, Robert.
Yeah, Robert. Okay.
You had to physically get off, get in the queue line, and get back on.
Which was okay for this ride because what was weird was, first of all, the queue line. Part of it is meeting Donald Duck, and wow, he's popular there.
Oh my God, Spanish, Mexican, wasn't he? Like in a
Yeah,
cantina?
it's from his part in the Three Amigos.
Yeah, he was in a cantina, and oh wow,
Wait, was it Three Amigos?
I'm not sure.
Maybe it's the Three Caballeros.
Yeah, I think so.
Three Caballeros. Three Amigos is Martin Short. Steve Martin and Chevy Chase?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got in the boat, and then when we got back, or when we got to the other section, we wanted to ride and, get back, and they were kind of confused. They were like, no, you have to get off. And so we got off, and then we got right back in because there was no line.
Yeah. But
Was
you
that-
had to physically get off. You could not do round trip.
I think that section also had a Duffy meet and greet.
I don't remember.
Wow, he's popular too. I rode Indiana Jones Adventure, Temple of the Crystal Skull. No Shia LaBeouf in it. It's okay. It's pretty good. There's a noticeable difference with a boulder. It does do one thing that I'm not a fan of with Indiana Jones, and I won't reveal it. But according to someone, it's intentional, and I was like, well, part of me wishes that didn't happen. But if you're still asking me, out of all the dark rides I rode on this trip, I would still say Sinbad is my favorite. And I can't wait for the hate comments now. After that, then we went to Port Discovery. Not really, but we're doing this in section order. And I went on Aquatopia, which is a spinning trackless water ride. And I was like, Kay, do you want to go on it? And she was like, no. Because she had a bad taste in her mouth after Roger Rabbit. And this one, it's okay. But one problem that I have is that you can see the track
underneath.
You can see the track. You can see the track that the boat does. So it's like, well, up here we're gonna turn. Gee, I wonder if. Yep, we're turning. There are a few sections where it kind of goes, it kind of does wacky stuff. It does spin. There's a section where I was hoping that I would go into the whirlpool section, and I guess for capacity, there's two sections of Aquatopia. There's one side and then there's another side. So two completely different rides. I only did one side, though.
But that could handle a lot of riders.
We did the DisneySea Electric Railway, which is basically an elevated subway train, monorail.
Right. Well, I did that while you did.
But what's cool is that this had two trains.
Right. But you had asked me to go get tickets for, what was it?
What was it, Nemo and Friends?
Maybe. American Waterfront. We went back.
Maybe it was... Anyway, whatever. And I might be crazy, but I'm pretty sure the English directions that I heard, I really think that was, I think that was Neil Patrick Harris.
That's what you said.
Mm-hmm. And some other people were like, I don't know. I was like, okay. Then we went on the Nemo and Friends Sea Rider, where it's a simulator. It's okay. It's a simulator. I didn't understand most of it.
Well, that was a long line.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody at DisneySea was nice enough to give me a
Disability ticket or something.
Right. she couldn't believe that I didn't get one at Disneyland. And so we were allowed to use that and just kind of wade outside of the rain and get on that one fairly quickly.
Okay, then we went to the American waterfront. And I did Tower of Terror. It's similar design to the California version. The California Adventure version, so not the Orlando version. I thought that you went 200 feet, but then I looked at it and I was like, no, you probably go like 140, 150. It's all themed to this Disney Imagineer, Joe Rohde. You see his face everywhere. Who plays like this rich, I'm quoting Hyde, I'm sorry, who's this rich Indiana Jones person who collects all these rare artifacts and stores them in his hotel. And then in the pre-show, you see something, something happens and then something vanishes. I was able to see how it did it, and I was trying to give like a hint to. I think they were American, or they understood English, but I kept trying to say, like, look at the statue. And I was able to see what happens. I already knew what happens because I had seen a video. So, yeah, I was able to see what happens. This Tower of Terror, it's kind of weird because the restraint is like a seatbelt, and it's kind of like a car seatbelt, where you're like strapped in, so that's kind of weird, because I think in California and in Florida, it's just a lap bar.
Ah.
The premise is that he disappears into the hotel, he becomes a spirit, and then the, Shariki, or the cursed jewel or artifact, then haunts the hotel.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of cool.
So how many floors did you, like, stop on?
Probably, like, 2 or 3. It was a very short ride layout. It was a very short ride time.
Because I think there were, like, 4 elevators or something like that. But
yeah, I think there were 4.
Each one had different stops.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people had ridden it a couple times to get a different effect.
This is also a time where I thought I heard Neil Patrick Harris. Let's see, what else? We skipped Toy Story Mania because we didn't like it in California. Why would we ride it in Tokyo?
But it was all lit up.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That area was wow.
That area was electric.
Yes.
And, one final thing that we did, and I'm gonna let Kay describe this because I think this was something she wanted to do. We did something called Big City Vehicles.
What?
Okay, I'll describe it then. We did Big City Vehicles, which was, cars that drove you around the American section.
Oh, the tour.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
And I guess this was part of the theming because, the theme is the American section of, like, the 1900s.
Yeah.
So, like, you see stuff from, like, the 20s and 30s and stuff like that. Well, most of the stuff. It is Disney.
It was nice to be able to sit down, too.
Mm-hmm. I think this was also when it was starting to downpour.
Yeah.
Or it was raining a lot harder.
Well, when I took the electric railway, it was starting to pour harder then. And you didn't think that there was much of a line, but oh my God, there was a huge line because everybody was going to a different section of the park, and you could take the railway instead of walking. So. And
I tried to find the infamous giant hot dogs, and I didn't have success. We just ended up getting like a regular hot dog.
Yeah.
The mountain, I think it's called Mount Vesuvius or Mount Prometheus, something like that.
Well, we were waiting for it to be like a volcano again.
Because we did see it erupt, and we wanted to capture it on film, but it seems to be like every 20 or 30 minutes. So we kept filming it, and nothing happened. So we're like, nah, whatever. And then when we turned it off, it would go off, and we're like, ugh.
Yeah. But we had to head to get our shuttles, so
Yeah, the mountain changes colors. I think it was like purple.
yeah. Yes.
Let's see.
We
What
never
else?
did get to see the water show.
Oh yeah,
It seems like we were always on
other
the
side.
riverboat thing, but they never went that way. They would always turn around and go. So we
That's
never
because
got to
they
see it.
cut part of the. That's because they
Right,
cut
they
part
cut
of it
through.
to do the show.
Yes. But overall, I think 2 very nice days.
Mm-hmm.
We did try to go through the World Bazaar. That was kind of cool.
Wasn't that also a little covered?
Yeah, I think it was like what they do in Vegas, the netting or whatever to help
Mhm.
cover it. But the light show there was very pretty. We didn't stay the first night because of the rain and weather. There
Yeah.
weren't fireworks. We weren't going to stay for the fireworks of the DisneySeas.
But apparently other people did.
Yeah, but it was getting late.
Yeah.
Oh my God. After 2 late nights, and plus the next morning, you had to be all packed and your luggage downstairs because we were heading to 3 parks and then heading to the bullet train to go to Nagoya.
But that's
So-
getting ahead of
Yes,
ourselves.
that will be in the next one. So you
Duffy
had
is
to-
popular in Japan. Holy cow.
Yes, you said that. But anyway, so far the trip has been very good.
And I joined the 700 Club, hence the
Woohoo!
title. Anyway, we're both tired, so we'll let you go. Stay tuned for part 2.
It'll be
This part 2 of
three.
6. Stay
Yeah.
tuned for part 3 with the bullet train. Bye.
Bye.